I'm gonna deafen in Discord and I'll tell you if the
We're
things...
live.
I'm not seeing anything quite yet.
It's gonna be delayed. So.
Okay.
I have but we're muted.
We're missing someone.
We're missing somebody.
We're not
missing you,
live on the
Bougie.
stream. Yeah.
No, we're missing Bougie.
Yeah.
Audio is on.
Okay, audio's on. Hello, everyone. We're just gonna sort some stuff out, and then we're gonna get going here.
Oh, all of that is streaming and it's just catching up now.
Yeah. Professional. Let's start here.
Can you not change the delay? Can you not change the delay on the? It's on Twitch. You can change the delay. I don't know about YouTube.
YouTube, I don't know if it lets you.
Yeah,
So
audio's on.
We'll wait for some people to come in, and then we will get going here.
Only 13 people.
Why are you showing me that?
We're saying we're not live and we're not.
All right, here we goes. I see people, so.
Okay, I am here.
All right.
Back.
Hey, yeah, hey all. So we are Red Mango Studios. Yeah. Just go ahead. And we.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. It was just so we'll just kind of start introducing.
Bougie, your mic keeps.
Yeah, I
going
think
out.
you're cutting
Hey,
out, Bougie.
Bougie.
Technical difficulties.
I think just because of the noise cancellation on Discord, you got to make sure you're close.
Yeah.
Got that.
Um,
All right. So, yeah. So just a little agenda for today. So we'll do a little gameplay video. Yeah, we'll be just checking the chat if you guys have, but answer it. But we're just gonna go through a couple of things. We'll talk through game, our idea, gameplay elements, art, programming. So we're just gonna go through and explain. But yeah, then again, if you guys do have questions on chat, and we'll just go through and answer those.
Sure.
and we
So-
are definitely on a bit of a delay for chat, so wait a few seconds for your question to come through.
Yeah, it does seem to be delayed quite a bit. So without further ado, I'll start doing some gameplay here. Oh crap.
So, yeah, this is the opening cutscene. I drew a lot of the assets, and Anthony put together the final video. And it just kind of summarizes the story of our game thus far. And we pick up right afterwards when the game starts.
Yeah, we really wanted to tell kind of like a storybook type of narrative, so we thought it'd be fun to kind of have a storybook kind of intro. And Noah drew some great stuff, and we animated it all together into this intro, and we also have an outro, and gives you a general idea of what's going on.
Alright, a little opening cinematic here, just to establish what's going on in the level.
It gives the player a little direction.
And then
It
we have this
looks
text
like Ivan
box.
has spread his vials across the room. We need to find them and break them. We have a strategy guide here to show some controls.
Anthony is playing on controller right now, but if he did not have his controller connected, that strategy guide would show controls for mouse and keyboard.
And because this project is sort of sponsored by Red Bull, here we are.
So we got a comment asking what exactly is in Snooze Ooze.
That's a trade secret.
Yeah, he doesn't give away the recipe very often, but it is something that can do basically whatever Ivan Snooze wants it to do. It can bring toys to life, it can give kids nightmares, it can make him perform magic and whatnot. It's just a general purpose substance for mischief.
It's really more of a plot device than an actual chemical.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
Although, as Anthony, you pointed out earlier, Snooze Ooze would be another name for NyQuil.
Yes. It does seem to have very similar effects to NyQuil. Here we transition to a locked side-scrolling camera for this platforming bit here, just to make it feel a bit cooler. And to signify that, we have a kind of camcorder frame outline to just show that it's a different camera. And it's a fun look.
That's right.
More
And
of those establishing shots. Oops, sorry, you go.
Oh, we were just saying. So yeah, we definitely have this gameplay. I was trying to see. I know we went because we want to like follow through the game, but as we're going through it, yeah, Noah, if you can just give a quick backstory of kind of what's happening. Yeah.
Sure. So this is all explained in the opening cutscene that I sort of storyboarded and drew. Basically, this young boy by the name of Kenny, an homage to Ken Turner, the now department head of SGD, but just an instructor that we really respect, and he was, heading this class. And then Sonny the Bunny, and they're two characters that it's like a young boy and his stuffed animal, and he loves the stuffed animal so much that the stuffed animal almost loves him back. And when Ivan Snooze comes to cause mischief at Kenny's house and brings all of Kenny's toys to life, the one toy that is able to resist the magic of Ivan Snooze is Sonny, because there's so much of Kenny's love in him, and so he becomes the hero for Kenny to protect him from Ivan Snooze. And yeah.
We have someone asking, what happens when you die? If there's any way, if you could just like jump into one of the cars really quick to show off that the death animation.
Yeah, jump into a car.
So yeah, what we have set up is we really want to be able to still journey through.
You're cutting out a bit.
Place?
There, Boots.
Yeah. Okay.
What
Well,
Bushy's saying is
let's have some after that.
in order to progress and like not lose too much progress, we have checkpoints set up so that these vials that you've already broken are still broken, and you can keep going on about your business here without too much repercussion to the player.
And some checkpoints put you back further than others, but it's generally, we think it's pretty fair.
Right. We didn't want to punish the player while playing the game.
So at this point, with the landmine segment, we have two options. You could either go a short way, which is more difficult with more landmines, or a bit of a longer path that has less landmines. So we'll go the longer, easier path so I don't screw up on a stream.
Jackie in the chat has said that there was a lot of gloomy and gritty horror games out there, but this is very fresh and creative, and thank you for that. We noticed that there was a lot of horror games for the other teams, and we don't dislike horror games. I love horror games, but we wanted to go with something a little more classic, and as many people pointed out in the Capstone Presentation chat, we were going for a kind of 90s platformer vibe, and which is evident by having an animal character, because every 90s platformer had an animal mascot character.
And now here is the first transition from platformer segments to ARPG segments. So he goes through the action figure box and he gets a bunch of new gear, and now he's decked out like action movie star. and he's ready to kick some butt. So now we have new controls here to show you how shooting and jumping, or no jumping, sorry, dashing and everything works. And we have new enemies. So we have some flamethrower enemies, some melee enemies, and ranged enemies.
Yeah, as far as the Easter eggs in the background you're talking about, yeah, I think Anthony did that, right? Because they were just like places that our team was from, different things like that.
Yeah.
So for our game, we wanted to implement some Easter eggs. So we actually had posters in the bedroom scene where we kind of made like knockoff versions of other video games, but in like a bunny style. And then we also did a I don't know if you went back, but there was the blocks. It actually spells the word memes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I put that there when I was building out this level.
First time we were building it out, we spelled out memes, and it was a little bit more obvious in earlier builds. But yeah, I had the idea of showing the controls on a strategy guide. Once again, something from a lot of 90s platformers. You get a big old book to know how to play the game, but we wanted to put it in. And just for extra flavor, I made one of them Super Bunny-O, which I think you all know what that could be a parody of, and then the other one was Call of Bunny Modern Warfare. So just a little fun reference and a little world building.
Yeah, we
you're
also,
really
in addition to making like funny posters and stuff that were kind of puns on like the whole rabbit theme or bunny theme, we also made some fake book covers, kind of reinforcing the 90s aesthetic with common book fair books. So we had like fun stuff like that. When you download the game, you could take some time and kind of look around at some of the assets and see where we kind of snuck some stuff in there. I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Hey, they're asking you to move their mouse. Yeah,
move the mouse cursor from the middle of the screen. So the mouse cursor acts as kind of the if you're using keyboard and mouse, it directs which way your player is looking. So that's why it pops up there. But he's on the controller, so.
There's also, I believe Anthony put stickers around for locations from where our team was from as well.
Oh yeah, for the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Yes, on the travel chests there was stickers for places we've lived, places we like.
Heritage and stuff like that.
So I'm looking here. If we had more time of designing the game, would you change or improve anything else in the game? Me personally, as the AI programmer, I would definitely change my AI. Because, of course, working with computers and, telling the computer to do something, it's always an iffy process, and you've really got to work at it more. So there's always things that I can improve in that aspect and make them kind of smooth and play better with the player character. Anybody else have an answer to that question?
As far as like the player and stuff like that, I'd probably some of the animations that we have just don't like blend together too well, and I would just go through and work on that better and make the player feel more responsive and just make it feel more snappy. But I think it came out pretty well for the time of that.
A common saying in the game industry is like that a game is never truly done, that you could keep tweaking it forever. And we really wanted to make sure that we had something that was fun and something that was complete before going back and tweaking a lot of stuff. So, in a way, the time constraint dictated what we kind of got to put in. And we chose to put in gameplay and story.
In addition to that, if we did have more time, we had a whole plan for a segment of ARPG stuff outside that was going to involve the player fighting ants and bees. And we thought that would be a really fun idea. However, we wanted to scope down how much stuff the player was doing and just focus on making the stuff that we did have more playable and more fun. And I'm glad that we did, because it ended up being a very fun gameplay experience as opposed to just here's kind of an example of what a game could be like. Juliana
said, "Oh, I love the outside." Anthony, do you want to talk a little bit about the outside, or anybody that did a lot of these models? I mean, I modeled this Coliseum and pillars for this boss battle, but all of the set dressing around it, some other people did.
I actually worked on the flowers in the background of the garden, and I also did I think there's something else I did. I just can't remember on the top of my head right now.
Another fun thing about the outside, the moving grass, that's a fun shader thing that you could do in Unity with 2D planes, and then you have like a sine wave animate those so it looks like wavy grass, which is always fun to do. Adds a little bit of movement to the scene, because when stuff is too static it kind of sticks out. Oh, there I go dying.
Juliana has asked who is voicing the bad guy. I'm pretty sure that is something that we found because we were allowed to use outside audio assets.
Yeah. I think we use that from the Adobe Sound Pack.
Yeah, as far as his grunting goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the bonk.
The boink, yeah.
The boink.
And then
Yeah.
for the final shot, so put Ivan into the ground. He will no longer haunt this neighborhood with his snoozers.
Once again, I did the art for this final cutscene, and Anthony put it together, and it looks great. I like the edit that he did with my assets.
If you guys want to play it yourself, it's on our website as well.
It is.
Yep.
It's available.
Yes. radrabbitgame.com, and then you can find a link to itch.io or itch.io and download it as well.
Yep, just download it from there, and then you have to extract the file from what you download, and then just run the executable.
And that's the whole gameplay loop. We have this credit scene here, which you can zoom the camera in and kind of scroll back and forth, and take a look at our like kind of cartoonified portraits to fit with the theme, and look at the stuff that we did, and a tiny little bougie.
We have a question. How is using Unity, and if you could remake the game in Unreal, would you?
We actually had several discussions about that. The main thing I could say from an art perspective is if we had the opportunity to make this game in Unreal, we could have pushed the visual style in different directions and kind of polished it in different ways that would have been not as optimized for Unity in most cases, at least with the universal rendering pipeline that we used. But from a programming aspect, it would have been slightly more complicated to get the dynamic AI that we wanted to do. So, Adam, do you want to talk about challenges that would have been like with Unreal?
So I don't have a ton of experience in Unreal. Mostly I've done all of my programming in Unity with C#. I've taken some courses in C++ programming, and then also in our level design courses we get taught how to blueprint. But going into this project, I didn't really want to start learning a whole new type of programming method when I'm working with AI, as I've already had experience with it working on different projects in Unity for past classes. So I just wanted to get straight into the project and hit the ground running working on AI, and because of that, it worked out really well. And I was able, I think in the first 2 weeks, I had pretty much all of the AI done, minus bugs that popped up from time to time, and if we wanted to change some stuff. But I think for like working in Unreal, there's benefits, but there's also, if you don't know it too well, that's a huge disadvantage, especially when you're going into something that's accelerated like this.
Yeah.
Mr. Cox has said, awesome work, Team Rad Rabbit, and congratulations on completing the SGD program. Good luck to you all moving forward. Thank you, Mr. Cox.
Thank you.
You're the reason I'm here, buddy.
That's
I
right.
made it this
You
far
guys-
without your instruction.
You guys have
Yeah. Yeah, in addition to choosing in terms of the engine as well, am I still cutting out? Just to kind of
No, you're good.
No,
Yeah,
you're
you're
fine
good.
for once.
better. That's great. I was silent there for a moment just to be sure. Yeah, we had a really great discussion before we even started the project in terms of, hey, if we're going to use Unreal Engine or Unity, and just having the three programmers be more familiar with Unity. We did decide on like using Unity. We had like a couple meetings of just great discussions. Like, okay, what are benefits of using Unreal, and what are benefits of using Unity, and what are the cons? And we decided to go with Unity that way.
Yeah. So most of what you see here is the culmination of a lot of collective like just having fun with ideas and just talking about like what we would like to see, what we would like to play, and also inspiration from other games that we have played before or were playing at the time before we began development. And I really hope that you guys go download the game, play it, and have fun with it. And hopefully you could kind of get the feel for like some of the games we got inspiration from.
Noah, George
Yes,
Cox
I
wants to
see.
see. Yep. Okay.
I see the request.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Is it? Would it be? Okay, we had a great time making Rad Rabbit. It's one of my favorite games that I've ever worked on. I'm
Oh,
I'm a
yeah.
little rusty. I don't practice as much as I used to.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are a team full of jokers here, and our team chats, while we did work constantly on this project, were filled with a multitude of people doing a lot of impressions. So there was quite a bit of funny stuff behind the scenes.
And quick info, so we mentioned about being able to download the game. So yeah, feel free to do so, and if you guys can, please do. Quick recommendation is when you do play, you have more options on the resolution. We would recommend to stick with 16:9. If you are having issues with a controller, we've had a little bit of issues here and there, but we found out if you just like disconnect it and reconnect it, then you're good to go again.
Yeah, that's right. Most of the time, you boot the game up with the controller plugged in already, and it'll be fine. But once in a while, you have to disconnect and reconnect. It's a games for Windows thing. But yeah.
There's also Xbox and controller and mouse work, or keyboard and mouse work. You just have to plug it in, and it should be automatically recognized as well. But the Xbox controller is the only one.
Yeah, Xbox 360 and Xbox One. But
Mr. Cox, once again, I miss your class as well. I have a lot of fond memories. And it's okay that you put me on the spot.
He talks about you all the time.
Oh yeah, we can't get him to stop. It does have support for Wii Motion Plus. You take the Wii Mote and you tape it to your mouse and you pretend like you're using that.
You could even press the keys with the nunchuck.
Yeah, if you desire.
If you so desire.
Yeah, if you so desire. But unless there's any other questions or anything specific that anyone else in the team wants to address.
I mean, I think we may still have a little bit of time. If ever people have questions, we may be able to maybe play their gameplay again. And we can still talk more about the game. But we'll try and see like what questions we may get as well.
Yeah, I was trying to wait for him to follow me.
I was just going to say our contact info is on the website if anyone wants to get a hold of us.
Yes. Someone asked, were you allowed to use voiceovers to read the text for disabled people or slow readers? We definitely were allowed to use voiceover, but that was just something we cut for time. We wanted to have a lot of voice acting in there, and we just ended up scrapping that.
Yes. we did originally want to have a lot of kind of voice dialogue stuff with both at the same time. However, like Noah said, time constraints as well as being able to meet with each other instead of working remotely kind of prevented us from being able to actually like go work with each other with an actual microphone instead of a headset, and the quality just wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, thankfully, our game doesn't have too many text elements. It's very, I mean, we have some things from time to time that guide the player, but mostly it's done through camera movements.
Mhm.
But that's definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, we tried to show, not tell, as it's said in the industry, in the biz.
Yes. That is definitely a lot of the design of the level and the flow of it, and then like you said, the camera cinematics. We're trying to direct the player without using text as much as possible, and it's really only for the story cutscenes and the minimal dialogue and labels that there's even anything written.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes. Do we think that the game would have come out much differently if we were not doing it all remotely?
I think we did pretty well remotely. I don't think it would be much different, to be
No,
honest.
I
Yeah.
think that's a yes and a no.
Yeah, a little
well,
bit of both.
a lot of us, me, Isaiah, Bougie, and Adam, we were all on a team in a previous class, and we didn't have many outside of class meetings. We communicated a lot over Discord, so we were kind of already doing remote work on projects before we were forced to do remote work on projects.
Right. I think there's a benefit, in my opinion, to working remote on this project at least, was that we're not going somewhere to meet up for a certain amount of time every week, whereas we can just sit down at our computers and work on the project while having our meetings.
For sure.
Most of our meetings, we worked throughout the entire meeting working on stuff, and whenever something would come up in discussion, we'd say, hey, can we add this? Or, hey, I noticed these issues. Can we fix this? And then we would get on fixing it and then carry on with the meeting as we were doing our work. And I think that allowed for a lot more time to be spent while developing rather than just talking with each other and meeting away from where we were working.
For sure.
I think another one of the biggest benefits for this project too is that we used Unity Colab, so it actually made a lot of like the file transferring a lot easier, so that we could all basically work on the same project at the same time without having to worry too much about the implementation and worrying about someone else's work getting covered over someone else's.
Yeah, we've some of us have worked on projects together before, and some of us have tried to use GitHub repositories in the same way that we used Unity Colab. And while it is a similar solution to Unity Colab, it's just a cleaner interface, and it just happens to like be more uniform with pushing like updates and stuff. So we did benefit greatly from that. And I do think that based on what everyone else was saying, we have had to work remotely for like the past three semesters. I forget how long this has been going on. But yeah.
It's been a while.
But because we've had so much practice working remotely already, we did have a pretty good workflow going right into this. And I do think that some stuff during the planning process and maybe during some of the final touch process, like voiceover stuff and everything, would have benefited from being able to meet in person. And also our presentation video, if we were able to meet in person and have a bit more uniformity with our video and sound stuff there, that would have been nice as well. But I think the game is the most important part, so we just put all of our focus in making a fun game. So, and we were able to accomplish that remotely.
And I would say also, not to keep going on about this topic, but most of us are kind of night owls, and we were able to meet just late into the night, early into the morning, and just work. And that's kind of what that's all how we all operate, really.
Mhm. It was really nice, yeah, because like it's like even like in the middle of the day when like one person wouldn't be working and one person would be working, you could just hit them up and be like, "Hey, do you have any idea about this?" And then yeah, they could
Yeah,
hop in there.
And just have an impromptu meeting within 5 minutes of like planning it and getting it together and actually talking to someone.
Right.
it's pretty crazy how working online through Discord and Unity Collab, it within like the first 2 weeks we were all mind melding and just like somebody would say something and be like, "Hey, would this be cool?" Or "Yeah, I found this," and immediately everyone would just hop into Discord and we would all just start either solving problems or getting new things done, and being able to share our screens to each other while we were working on stuff almost like had that telepresence set up where you did feel like you were in the room. You were able to kind of look at what they were doing, so it was like easier to get an idea of what somebody was saying because doing it the walkie-talkie method alone and just trying to describe things with words sometimes doesn't work with a visual medium like a video game. So being able to just share screens and like push stuff to each other over chat was extremely helpful. So yeah.
Right. And I think without that, if we were in person and met in person, I don't think we would have. I don't necessarily say I don't think it would have come out as nice, but I think we would have had our plenty of struggles during the development process that we did not have because we had that instant access.
Right. We were definitely more efficient with our time because of online format. So yeah.
That would be correct. You know, we may be able to do another walkthrough again on the game, and we can like dive a little bit deeper in
This time
terms
we
of like
Yeah.
can peek into some of the
spots
Easter
we have.
eggs and stuff.
Correct,
Take our
yeah.
time. And then if anybody has downloaded it and are playing it at home, you can chime in with questions about certain parts and we can try to answer that.
We're gonna change up a little bit so that not so many screens are on screen at once, just so that we can see more of the game at one point. And we'll go through and we'll kind of slow roll this and we'll look at some stuff. And I'll leave the audio muted for the time being so it's easier for everyone to talk. And we'll skip
Also,
the intro because we've seen this.
Tiffany says, the long nights paid off. Hope you all sleep well tonight, and knowing it's complete and everything turned out great. Fantastic job, gentlemen. We actually talk a lot about this, just going through this day where it's like, oh, it's finally done, and we just get to get our good night's rest and sleep.
I
But
can
yeah,
go
thank
to
you.
sleep at a decent time.
Yeah, or whatever qualifies as a decent time for people like
Yeah.
us. So coming up here, we have obviously a very similar console to one that you might have played when you were younger, with the carryover of the Super Bunny-O artwork. We have a poster for that game there. Obviously,
And-
this kid's a fan.
Yeah. And the strategy guide has that image as well.
Yes, down here,
Down
there's Search
there.
Guide, yeah. And then Noah also had made some of this stuff to the Call of Bunny, which is a reference to another popular game. Then we have James Bunny. Just you can figure that one out. So let's actually talk a little bit about this chest and see maybe if anyone wants to talk about why we chose some of these stickers. So one of the main stickers that you'll see on these is the box is kind of blocking on here, but there's a Raleigh sticker because we all operate out of like the greater Raleigh area or Cary or something surrounding. And other than that, we were trying to really put stuff here that represented either places that we traveled or places that we had lived. So does anyone want to reveal anything about why these stickers may or may not represent individuals on the team?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, as obvious as it can be with all the cameras that we have. I'm definitely the one from the Philippines. I think that was my main sticker right there. I think we have some people in terms of visiting the places, and I'm actually gonna have them reveal that.
Right.
Yeah, one of the stickers you can see on there is a I Love Austria sticker. I did a semester abroad and lived in Austria and took a course there. And that was a really great experience. I got to go all around Europe. And I mean, even though it wasn't directly related to game development, it really kind of helped with, I guess, exploring different cultures, right? Because culture takes a lot of culture is a big part of games, I should say.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a really great experience.
I have a Connecticut silhouette here because unfortunately I am from the khaki area of Connecticut, so that's what we do. And then here's a little bit of a fun thing. It's a chalkboard, and we have a picture of somebody trying to give all their money to Red Mango Studios, and we are gladly accepting. Oh, almost made that one. These are obviously in reference to like Jenga blocks, so that's kind of obvious. Red Bull cans, we talked about those before. If we come up here, we have some turntables, and we have like fake band names here. So the Whom instead of the Who, and then Pork Floyd instead of Pink Floyd. Again, we kind of went a little overboard with the puns. I'm gonna keep hopping on this so that maybe you can see this bunny poster a little better. But Young Bun, Mo Bunny, Mo Problems, because along development, the more we added, the more problems we found, and you're a bunny. Like we were talking about before with the books and like Scholastic Book Fair type of stuff that kids go to in the 90s. You would always see like the Guinness Book of World Records every year. It's a new one, and like so we made like a fake one of those, which is kind of fun. Nice little reference.
And yeah, in terms of like,
Go ahead.
yeah, so go ahead. No, we were just going through some like just gameplay elements right here. So like we were really trying our best to still fit everything on room where it makes sense. So that was actually one of the challenges where when we decided to have like a room instead of just kind of a virtual world that we can just create. So we really thought of placements and the journey of basically Sunny or our bunny. And going through that, we made sure, even though we already have like different gameplay elements, such as like the platform element and the ARPG element, we also dive a little bit deeper on getting more different mechanics on the platformer and ARPG. So you guys would be able to see a couple of things on the platformer where you're able to jump, you're able to double jump, you're able to dash, and really be able to use those movements. At the same time, you would also see features like jump pads to moving platforms and hazards such as those spikes earlier. And now, once you get into here as well, you would have more puzzles that go a little bit in depth. So for something like this here, it's a little kind of these are falling blocks basically, but at the same time, you're also going to try to find a way to find a clue basically of what the path is. And I think this was mentioned, but there's definitely a clue here for you to be able just to figure out right away what blocks would fall and which blocks would not fall.
So yeah, if you follow this golden path, it does spell out a phrase, and it says this is the way, and then that's it. But
Awesome.
and you can get through the puzzle without actually noticing that, or you can notice it and it'd be a fun little detail.
Yes. If we want to talk about some more stickers, since more of them are exposed. Japan is a sticker on there. I lived in Okinawa, Japan for 6 years, in my kind of formative years for like pretty much all of elementary school, because my dad was a Marine, and he was stationed over there for a while, and I lived on the military base. And once again, like Adam said about Austria, you get to absorb a lot of culture just by being in another country. And it can really widen your worldview and give you a lot of stuff to draw on for art and games. Even the programming of it is in art form. So
Robert said it kind of takes an It Takes Two style. We actually we actually looked at It Takes Two for some inspiration towards this game for certain things like the player movement and different ways that just things interact with each other.
And at the same time, It Takes Two is kind of an homage to many of the things that we're paying homage to, which is the '90s 3D platformers. And,
That's true.
but yes, definitely. Oh yeah, you go ahead.
I was gonna say in here before I knock down the other books, you can kind of get a look at some of these other kind of spoof books that we have. Instead of Hatchet, we got Ratchet. Instead of the Babysitters Club, we got the Puppy Sitters Club. Moose Bumps instead of Goosebumps with a nice vampire moose there. Then Manamorphs instead of Animorphs with myself turning into a koala. It's a little hard to get an angle on it, but yeah, funny little things that you might not notice on your first time through. But we thought if we're gonna spend time on this game, we would like other people to spend time on it as well.
That's for sure.
Oh dang.
So yeah, continuing on gameplay. So yeah, basically you do have to finish this 2 challenges before you're able to move on. So we have the following platforms. Here's just kind of a simple platforming challenge, jumping challenge, before you're able to move on to this part.
And once again, it has those camera cinematics to show the challenges when that part is introduced, and then to show that the books fall after you complete them.
And then here we're gonna take the more densely populated landmine path this time around.
And yeah, and this was one of the things that we had in mind in terms of just, okay, we have a challenge of a landmine. Okay, you have to go past that. But we also thought about a lot with player choices in games. And we just thought of like, okay, like this gives a little bit of kind of gives your unique situation and a choice basically of which path you want to choose, which gives the player have that replayability, which gives the game have that replayability. At the same time, we just want to highlight that player choice is definitely something that we wanted to add it in and use it in a simple way of one of the challenges here.
Speaking of player choice, the last time I went down here and fought more enemies, but you also have the option to take the high road and encounter less enemies.
Juliana says, "Love the pants." That is something that I love too. I did a lot of the character concepts for this game. So the main character, Sonny the bunny, and then the villain, Ivan Snooze, which, if you'll notice, we're all wearing our Ivan Snooze t-shirts, except for Isaiah, who hasn't gotten his yet. But when I kind of pitched the bunny character to the group, my initial concept was that he had the 2 sort of forms, where he was the regular bunny, and then the more tactical bunny for the top-down shooting section.
Yeah, and even the name choice kind of fits into some of the punny stuff. He's named Sonny, and his nemesis in this game is Ivan, who we used to call him the Moon Man, and in some of the story we even still call him the Moon Man. So the sun versus the moon, it's kind of like if the kid's having a nightmare, sunrise comes and you wake up and the nightmare's over. It's kind of a bit of a play with that.
Or even just a nightlight as well, just something bright shining to help you resist the nightmares, and that is also what Sonny is there to do for Kenny.
That's right. And in terms of the name Kenny, we definitely paid homage to our great professor of this class, named Ken,
who's now the lead of our program. Congratulations, Ken.
Congratulations, Ken.
So Christina Scally just said the fact that he's stepping on Legos right now, it hurts.
Yes. It's a good thing he's an action bunny, huh?
Right. He's a toy, so he doesn't really have the kind of nerves and pain receptors that we humans do. Uh, Somebody said, "Where did we get the shirts?" Uh,
Oh,
TeePublic. I have an account on TeePublic, and I actually made another shirt design for one of our previous games that me and Isaiah, Bougie, and Adam worked on. And
Also,
I could drop the link if anyone would like to buy it, but don't feel obligated
Obligated.
to.
And also the back. There's something on the back here.
Oh yeah.
Can you guys see that in the chat there?
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Ivan Snooze.
Yeah, that felt really cool turning around to a camera.
All right.
So that is the link in the chat right now to buy the shirt if you want to. But I really just put it on a storefront so that we could all have it, and that was just the easiest way that I found to get us all a shirt.
I've been snooze.
Couple of things you're gonna guys see on this. Pretty much the start of our levels. We really wanted to make sure for the player to be able to understand the narrative and give player direction. And I think we did a good job of just kind of being able to present that. Oh yes, we have Ivan Snooze even on that last part of just this final boss level and where you have to go, and what you have to beat. So we definitely took some time on making sure the cinematic goes in line and the camera switching goes in line with the story and the game. At the same time, giving direction to the player as they move on forward.
And this final level is not the debut because he was in the earlier cinematic, but the debut of the big version of
Right.
the Ivan Snooze character model, and of course, is where you actually get to fight him.
His final form.
Right, his final form, which is just his regular form but bigger.
Kind of
Yeah,
going back to some of the Power Ranger stuff we were talking about, where eventually one of the enemies just grows super big.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the earlier questions about the ooze and goo is very 90s, early 2000s kind of kid stuff. Everything was about
Yeah, Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles.
Mhm.
Let's
Power
go.
Rangers. There's always some sticky, gacky stuff, kind of filling the place of just evil substances. So
For basically for this boss level challenge, we definitely wanted to add all the different gaming elements that we have. So obviously having the platformer challenges and the PG challenges. At the same time, we added new things such as for you to be able to beat Ivan, there will be these cannons, and you have to shoot these cannons. But when you shoot one cannon, a shield goes up, and you have to find a way to break that shield. Of which breaking the vials would do that. So it's just a back and forth of being able to shoot the cannons, being able to break the shield, shoot the cannons, break the shield, and then as you are switching from platformer to ARPG until you get to the final cannon.
Yeah, we had pretty long discussions about the boss level and what we should do with the boss level and what fit with the boss, and we even had some mechanics coded that didn't make it into the final one. But I really like how it came out.
yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of ideas for this, and earlier on I had added in a couple different things that he did that didn't make it in because it got very complicated at some points. But I remember, like all great things, you think of something at 3 a.m. in the morning, and you're like, hey, maybe we should use cannons to shoot our boss.
Well,
and he has a shield that pops up.
And the cannons even were a scrapped concept from a different part of the game.
That's right. Yeah.
I modeled that cannon really quick because Adam said he was gonna put it in the top-down shooting section, and then we cut that part out. But the cannons got used in the boss, so we're kind of.
And
Did you ever put
using all the parts.
that link in?
I put the link in.
I I don't see.
I think
I don't-
if
You did not?
I think if you try to put a link into a chat thing, it automatically deletes it.
Oh,
'Cause
so
it's-
Oh.
whoever's controlling the account's got to do that.
No.
Yes. Bougie, if you could, or whoever has the is logged into the official YouTube account, I think the person
Yes.
streaming can send a link.
Yeah. Okay. Send me that link and share that away.
Yeah. I'll put it in the general on Discord. Yes.
Yeah, we had a
link is coming.
we had a lot of different ideas that we came up with for the game that some of which didn't make it in, but time constraints and whatnot. But overall, we kind of scoped it down, and I think it's good that we did remove some of that content because it really helped us to focus on what we had and kind of polish that up and make it play a lot better than what it would had we focused on other areas.
Mm-hmm. I think when we started, we had an idea going of having that abundance of ideas, abundance of assets, and abundance of different mechanics, so that we can really just play around with the different mechanics, art style, and just be able to just form something out of that rather than forcing yourself to just make something out of a specific mechanic or a specific style or so. So that was like what we were headed, or what our mindset was heading to this.
For sure.
Yeah, and there was definitely a bunch of assets and a bunch of ideas that did get left on the cutting room floor. If there's ever a time that we want to revisit this project to try to like keep going with it, that would be something that, maybe we would have that ARPG section outdoor where you're fighting insects and stuff, or maybe we would have some type of turrets in the ARPG section initially. There's definitely a lot of ideas that were tossed around that we didn't even start prototyping because just by the time we really started getting the wheels rolling on stuff, we just were having more fun with like the core gameplay elements that we designed in the first place. But it kind of falls into the whole engineer's creed thing where you're not done when there's nothing else to add. You're done when there's nothing left to take away. So we cut the fat and we left like the parts that we really liked, and then once we had that, we really tweaked those to be as fun as possible.
Definitely.
Well, I think we had originally planned to run for about an hour, so if anybody has any questions they want to pop into the chat, we will definitely answer them. But other than that, we'll be wrapping up pretty soon.
Yes, we are. I think one of the things that...
Oh, go ahead, Bushy, sorry.
Okay, yeah, I think like one of the things that we probably haven't discussed that much was our inspiration to like maybe the art style and the decision leading to that art style. If we don't have those questions, we could probably dive into that.
Oh, yeah, totally. One of the main things that we really liked about the decisions we made and why we made them is the fact that like we wanted it to be sort of like between like a child's dream and their imagination. So we had originally planned on having something that didn't look realistic in the first place and kind of was exaggerated in some way. So we floated a lot of ideas and did like some sample scenes and played with different shaders and stuff. And eventually I made probably like 4 or 5 different shaders until we landed on like a toon shader with like a thick outline. And we all just, once we started putting like some of our models in, we all just really liked the look of it. And we started building the world out, and we all just were really getting a kick out of how it was coming together. So from there we just started going even deeper into more shader design and designing the textures around the shader. And that really like gave us, it's sometimes it's creatively, it's fun to work inside like constraints. You end up having like some cool ideas that maybe you wouldn't have come up with initially. But yeah. And I do want to ask a question from my fellow teammates. What was your least favorite part about working on this game? What was the part that absolutely was a drag? I think I know a couple of your guys' answers, but I do want to hear it.
Animations.
Animations, yeah. We all knew the animation struggle that Isaiah was having.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
animations. It's just because I feel like if we had made the animations more for this game in particular, it would have been a lot easier. But just kind of stitching together what we had and all that stuff, it was a little rough.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were allowed to use Mixamo, which is an online resource for animations. So we were trying to mix together multiple animations from Mixamo, and it didn't always go smoothly, to say the least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had to do a lot of editing. I mean, probably for my least favorite part. Ooh. I delved in almost every part of the programming, so there's a lot of those. But I would have to say I think the problem I had the most with was I dealt with the animation bugs.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it would be AI. Just getting them how to behave, how you want them to behave, is it's a mess. It takes a while to just get it right because you got to make everything super specific on what you want to happen. Otherwise, it just does not go the way you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stapling the animations together, it's to give you an idea, it's like taking like a bunch of scenes from completely different movies and trying to edit them together as if it's one cohesive film.
Yeah,
So
and you have to like go back and like edit frames and all that stuff. It's
yeah.
rough.
I think,
No,
Okay,
you go.
yeah. I was just gonna say, like, one of the things, like being a programmer as well, is that just thinking ahead of the different elements and mechanics that we did have to make sure that they are, like, meshing up all together and everything makes sense. That was like one of the unexpected things, I guess expected, but came in unexpected in a way. With just the amount of things that we just have to play through, tests, and design, and making sure that the platformer makes sense, and with the different elements, and the the shooting would make sense as well, and then just playing with all the different, just tuning it and making sure that everything is cohesive and going together. And that goes the same way with even on gameplay, with the different puzzles and with the different enemies and AI that Adam has made. That also goes with, like, the player direction on, like, the cinematics and our camera movement and things like that. So just that amount of work, and then making sure everything is cohesive. I think that was one of the challenges that it definitely doable, but it's just more time consuming, but paid off in the end for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the cheesy answer and say that I didn't have a least favorite part of the project.
You know what, Noah? I got you beat with the cheesy answer because my least favorite part of the project was that it had to end. How about that?
Oh,
I had my toe dipped in a few different parts of it. I contributed a lot to the level design for all three of the levels. And I don't consider myself to be a level designer. It's not really something that I've put a lot of energy towards before, and so I was kind of, and none of us really were like big level design people. So I think we all kind of struggled to get the level design out. But then once we had our idea for the level kind of solidified, and we communicated and figured out what we were trying to do for each level, it got easier.
uh-huh. Yeah, I feel like that.
Question in chat here. Oh,
Yeah, so Robert.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I feel like with the way we designed it, we planned it out as well as we could, but there's always going to be like changes as we go along and everything like that. And when those changes come, it's rough. So I mean that's another part that we kind of struggled with, is like when we want to change something, we'd have to see if it's like viable with what we already had done. And especially with the programming side, like would we be able to plug it in, or we'd have to redo a bunch of the stuff that we already had done, stuff like that. So I think that was a big part of it as well.
Yeah, it all took a lot of foresight. Yeah.
We have a quick question from Robert. He said, a small question. What made you guys want to make the sound effects for when you step on the keys or record? It was a cool small thing y'all added.
Yeah, so the main inspiration for stuff like that and like the bongo noises and the turntable scratch sounds, being that it's like a really playful situation and we wanted it just to have like a fun vibe, interactive elements, little things like that don't totally affect gameplay but add to like world building and just kind of the fun atmosphere of the game was stuff that we did want to focus on. And it does kind of reinforce that like that idea that we had where it's like take stuff and just really like make it do as much as you can with what you have, and don't try to like, you know, we have 8 weeks to work on this project. You're not going to make the next Halo, so like make something that's fun, make something that like people get a kick out of, and like add little details that like a lot of people wouldn't do for something like this, just to set it apart and also to reinforce, yeah, it's playful. You got kids toys, who doesn't want to play with a toy, you know? It's fun.
And it really
aside
just
from that, yeah.
it brings the game to life, I think.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, it's we were going for a very simple style, and we weren't necessarily going for realism. You know, it's a cartoon, but what makes a game feel real and feel, you know, cohesive is little things like that. Like the sounds, like the you know, just all the different smaller elements that go into the larger thing, make it feel more alive and more real, but not real, you know.
Yeah.
Similar to what Anthony was saying, I've heard a lot of game development, like horror stories, where people say basically they have a deadline and they get it done and they realize it's just not a fun game. Like it's just not fun. They had their vision and they did this thing. So I think our main idea was basically it just needs to be fun. So like anything we put into it, we thought, is this fun or is this
Exactly.
you know, yeah.
We actually had thought of more things to add in with like maybe possible animations and sounds, but it's just more for like if we had the time and just making sure that, you know, our game can still kind of handle all those processes as well. But we actually had a lot of like different conversations. Hey, like we need to add this. Like, you know, it may not be part of the gameplay, but it definitely adds into the atmosphere and then that fun part, definitely.
It looks like we're heading a little bit over time if we wanted to wrap things up really quick.
Yeah, we're a little bit over an hour now.
Yeah, any closing statements any team members want to make just real quick?
Thank you everyone for watching our stream tonight, and we hope that you guys play Rad Rabbit.
Yeah, please go play our game.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of it.
It's free.
For sure.
Yeah, it is free. But yeah, I just want to congratulate everyone basically on the team on being able to work on this, and you just really being collaborative and and have a really great communication and going through that. As the team lead, I definitely felt that to everyone here, making sure that we're definitely communicating. We are going through different creative processes and make sure we have all the different ideas that we have, and then you just pick on that idea and pick on that idea, and so that goes with like being collaborative at the same time being flexible in terms of the decisions we've made and the sacrifices and, you know, things that we didn't add, and just all those things. So yeah, I just want to say congratulations. Thank you for everyone. But yeah, that's my spiel right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, and please play and let us know what you think about it.
Yeah.
All our contact info is down below, so just let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Oh, is it down below? I think post our
Well,
website.
not down below. On our
Yeah,
website.
yeah.
On our website. On our website.
It's on the
Right.
website.
Well, yeah, if one of
We'll
us, if
update
one of
the
us,
description. Yeah.
I'd say if one of us gets like feedback or anything like that, well, all of us are going to hear about it. So
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
So yeah, just to clarify, on our website, below on our footer, there should be the email for our team. But under the teams page, we have our individual contact information as well. So if you guys do want to reach out, yeah, feel free to reach out. Check us out as well.
And I am adding the URL to our website in the video description right now, so it should be there.
Cool. Yes, and it's also in the description for the Capstone
Yes.
project as well, if you still have that open.
But
Yeah.
Well, thanks
aside
everyone for
from
coming.
Yeah,
yes,
thanks. We had pretty consistently about 20 people in here, so thank you, guys,
Thank
and
you.
thanks to everybody who was chatting with us and asking good questions and inspiring all the conversation we had.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well, Red
All right.
Mango signing off.
good night,
Sounds
everyone.
good. See you all.
I
Have a
gotta
great night.
ruin everything. Okay.